You're watching the Dallas Cowboys Report. I am your host, Tom Downey, and we're about to dive into a live mailbag. And if you want to be on the mailbag in the future, it's pretty simple. You have to be subscribed. So if you haven't already, I want you guys to hit that big red button and join the #1 Cowboys YouTube channel out there. From Matthew Lee, draft a safety this year. I hope, man. I think this has to be the year, right? Unless you go out and pay somebody. If you go out and spend big money on like a Justin Simmons, which I don't think they will do, but if they do, heck yeah, I'm on board there. Like at that point, you're fine. You have 2 starters. You have 1 starter at safety right now, Donovan Wilson. You need other guys. So keep that in mind. Draft a safety. I think absolutely the Cowboys should do that. From Jerome, what's your confidence in Mike McCarthy after this game going forward? I'd be lying to you if it didn't go up, right? Like, I feel better about McCarthy now. I was going to be worried if they had lost out, if they had lost to a bad Bengals team. I genuinely did not think they were going to win this game. So it's a nice surprise from that perspective for me. I feel better about McCarthy. I'm not convinced you bring back Mike Nolan. We'll see about that one. They still allowed plenty of points here. But I do feel better about McCarthy. But next year, I am still going to need to see him do it. Like, next year is going to be a prove-it year for me as it relates to McCarthy and the Cowboys. So what is your confidence level right now, folks, in Mike McCarthy? Rate this for me on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 being you want him fired right now. 10 being you think you should keep him. And he is the greatest coach in NFL history. I'm not at a 1. I'm not at a 10. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. I will make this the pinned comment on today's video. So if you get the ad break here on YouTube, scroll on down and get your votes in. From Lincoln Adams, do you think we should draft Zach Wilson? No. A, if you keep winning games, you have no chance of even getting him. B, you have a top 10 quarterback. There are 2 ways that you can build a defense, through the draft or in free agency. There's always risk involved with both, of course. But I would feel better, given the Cowboys' draft history and almost more importantly, their free agency history with the guys they pay, to just stick with my quarterback. I will pay Dak Prescott, and I will spend all of my draft capital, or almost all of it, on the defense. All right, from Demarius Edwards, would you spend big money on the defensive back or defensive line position in free agency? I think in terms of free agency versus the draft, I think your best path to building a team is going to be draft defensive backs, corners and safeties, and then defensive line, I'm going to try and add in free agency. That, I think, is going to be the best path for the Dallas Cowboys, because it's not a great defensive line draft class, and the defensive back class isn't great, but it's better. I think you can find some fillers at defensive line and then try again in the next offseason as well. Seb Bray, if we do eventually trade Zeke, what team do you think would expect to trade for him, and who could we get for him from that team? Honestly, guys, Zeke does not carry value. Like, running backs in this day and age of the NFL, we know that they have short shelf lives. That's the reality. And Elliott averaging less than 4 yards a carry here. Like, that's not valuable, especially when I pay that guy $10 million. $10 million for that. I don't think there's going to be a lot of interest there. I know there are some dumbass bloggers out there who go, oh, we could trade Zeke for a 4th and Kyle Fuller, the quarterback from the Bears. No, you can't. That's asinine. You might not get one of those things for Zeke Elliott. $10 million for a running back who doesn't look the same. And I know the argument is, oh, it's because the offensive line is bad, which is fair. But then why would you pay that guy $10 million if he's not going to get great runs? And frankly, Tony Pollard looks just as good as him. That's not valuable. So if they try and trade Zeke, my expectations are low in terms of what you're going to get back for him in a trade. Now, today's show made possible by BetUS, the number one sportsbook out there. You can get a 125% deposit bonus when you head over to chatsports.com/bet. When you use promo code Cowboys125, that will get you a 125% deposit bonus. And I'm busting out the holiday cheer. Maybe you didn't get what you wanted for Christmas, right? Email us, cowboys@chatsports.com. If you are a new BetUS customer, I'm going to hook you guys up with a Dak Prescott jersey, the one you see right there. It's only available for new BetUS customers. So head over, chatsports.com/bet, utilize promo code Cowboys125, and then email us, cowboys@chatsports.com. If you put down $100, get you hooked up with a Cowboys jersey. Timothy Mullen, are you more comfortable with Micah Parsons since our draft pick is lower? Also, which of the second tier of corners do you like in the draft? I mean, it depends, on where they finish. Guys, the Cowboys could lose out and still get a top 7 pick. They're a game back of being a top 5 pick team. So if you're picking 5, I still want to trade down. If you're picking 9 or 10, I still think one of Micah Parsons, Caleb Farley, or Patrick Surtain will be there for you in the draft. There are going to be a lot of quarterbacks that go early. So trading down becomes trickier. But if you move down to the second tier, you're looking at guys like a J.C. Horn from South Carolina, Darion Kendrick from Clemson, the 2 Georgia guys, other players I know I'm forgetting right now. I don't want to go linebacker in round 1. I would not be surprised if that's what this Cowboys front office and team did, though. Miller time, can we afford to franchise tag Dak next year? Short answer, yeah. I mean, frankly, easily. It's not that hard to do. People think the Cowboys are in cap hell. Hell, they're not. They got no dead money next year. They're fine. They can afford to franchise tag Dak. Now, whether they should franchise tag Dak, very different question. This should have been done a year and a half ago. If Dak is your guy, if you believe that he is a top 10 quarterback, just pay him. We've seen how much this offense has struggled without Dak. Even when the offensive line was also decimated by injuries, Dak was scoring 30 and 40 points a game. They got to 40 this week thanks to 4 takeaways and an onside kick score. It's clearly better with Dak Prescott. So what I want you guys to do, name your number. Fill in the blank for me, if you will. What would you pay Dak, in millions, of course, per year? Is it 30? You're probably staring 38 minimum if you're actually going to get the deal done. So let me know in the comments section. What is the most that you would pay Dak Prescott based on millions per year? Honestly, Gabriel says 40. Probably. Because you pay him 40 now, and in a couple, if not weeks, in a couple years, he's no longer top 5. That is how the quarterback market works. It goes up. The cap is only going up. I would strongly pay Dak Prescott and just figure out the rest of my defense after that. That makes a lot more sense if you're the Cowboys. True Fulbright, if we win out, what pick of the draft do you think we have at the end of the year? If the Cowboys win out, get to 7 wins, you're 16, 17. I mean, maybe you get lucky and you're 14 there, but I mean you're going to be in the mid to late teens. Best case, you're like 16. You probably finish, a little, or actually that's worst case you're 16. Best case you're 13, 12, something like that. It's going to be a tricky spot if you're the Cowboys. So you're not going to make the postseason. I would recommend losing once you're, at least if you're the Cowboys, officially eliminated or whatever. I want to tank, but this has not been a good 2 weeks for Team Tank. Now, if you guys want consistent updates around the Dallas Cowboys, and if you want to join us for live watch parties, breaking down the game, we had fun today, right? during this Cowboys-Niners game that was an absolutely wild finish that made no sense whatsoever? I think we did. If you want to join us for these live watch parties and you want to get on the mailbags and you want to stay up to date, hit that big red button and subscribe to the #1 Cowboys YouTube channel out there. Folks, I promise you, no one is going to keep you more up to date than we will here at the Dallas Cowboys Report. So, hit that red button and subscribe. That way you guys don't miss out. We will keep you covered on everything going on around the Cowboys. Plexit Dallas. Who do you think the best defensive player the Cowboys could draft around their pick? Stuff can and will change as the draft process goes on. Some guys will rise, some guys will fall. I don't know in terms of which corner will end up being for the Cowboys, but I think it's either Patrick Surtain or I think it is Caleb Farley. The value of a corner means a lot to where this team is at. That is what I would do if I were the Dallas Cowboys. Timothy Mullen. Should the Cowboys trade a late-round pick for Geno Atkins? It is a fascinating idea. Now, Atkins did not play well for the Bengals. He was bad, but he was also not used right and fell out of favor because Zach Taylor sucks at his job and whatever. From a value and a need perspective, it's intriguing, right? The problem is, if you trade for Geno Atkins, he costs you $12+ million this year and almost $14 million next year. Or excuse me, 2021 is $12 million. 2022 is like $13.5. So that's a lot of money. Unless he takes a significant pay cut, I don't think I can do that from a cap perspective. So if he does that, sure, I'm on board. Let's try it. Otherwise, he might just get cut. And at that point, yes, I would sign Geno Atkins to an incentive-laden deal. So in terms of targets, I do like Atkins quite a bit. Good question there, Timothy. I appreciate it. Gamer Killer 9. How do you think the O-line that got injured this year will do next year? I mean, are they healthy again? Like, that's my mindset. Tyron Smith. It's going to come down to health. If he's healthy, he's going to be awesome. If he's not, we're at where we were this year, right? Zach Martin. I'm not concerned. He's going to be great again. Lael Collins. Got to get in shape. Because no matter what some of the Cowboys leaks might tell you, Lael was not in shape this year. And he got hurt as a result. So if he's in shape, they're going to be fine. If not, we got bigger problems with Lael long term then. From Henry, who is the best safety in this? I think it's Trevon Moehrig, the safety from TCU. I'm inclined to agree with the caveat. I have not done a really deep dive into any of the safeties yet. I don't think there's going to be round one guys from those I've talked to who have studied and who know about the draft and talk to scouts and all that. So I don't think there's going to be a round one guy. I think it might be that TCU safety, but we'll see exactly what ends up happening. From Raymond Prey, who do you think should be our new defensive coordinator if we get rid of Mike Nolan? Great question. I think George Edwards is probably your favorite there in the clubhouse, internal guy who, frankly, I would have hired over Mike Nolan. And you can go back and look at some of our hot board candidate lists when they first made the move. I think Edwards makes some sense there. Outside, Dan Quinn, Wade Phillips, a guy you've never heard of because you want to go young and innovative. But I think Edwards is probably your front runner if there is such a thing with 2 games left in the NFL season.